Video number 7, Conflict Management, presented by Joe Mergen. Prior to the day of class being held, I will send this link to students to complete the questionnaire on conflict style. Students will be asked to print the results and bring them to class. If they have forgotten the assignment, I will have a laptop available to quickly complete for participation. Conflict is a part of every job, and supervisors must be ready and willing to meet it head-on. We will talk about some of the most common types of conflict in the workplace, certain approaches to conflict, and negotiation strategies. There are many reasons why people get into conflict. Probably one of the most common reasons for conflict in the workplace is topic-related. For example, you may disagree with your department head over the budget or what has been allocated for the work group. Budgets, resources, level of authority, etc. These contention points are a simple fact of life in the workplace. How many of you have disagreed with the people you work with on how to do something? This is a conflict in a work process, when differing opinions on how to get something done run into conflict. Relational issues center on how parties want to be treated by one another. You may work for a super smart coworker whom you agree with in every way, except the way she talks down to you. She's a bossy know-it-all, and your conflict is more about being respected in the workplace. Last, a common type of conflict is your identity you present to the outer world. You want to show people you are competent, committed, fair, and honest. What if that identity is threatened by someone who thinks you play favorites with your staff? You now feel a sense of identity conflict. Even though I mentioned 4 types, most conflicts have a mixture of more than one conflict going on, so it can make being a leader of a team quite challenging. During this slide, I will ask the class to think about when conflict can be good, such as innovation, creativity, and out-of-the-box thinking. Challenges to a stagnant way of thinking is not a bad thing. At this point, I will ask everyone to get the results of their pre-work questionnaire out and discuss the results. People choose to approach conflict in different ways. Some avoid it, never say anything, and look the other way. A supervisor who avoids conflict will not be very effective and probably won't be a supervisor very long. Some just roll over and give in to whatever the other person wants, no matter what. This is also ineffective for a supervisor, as you can imagine. There are also competitors, and they want to go against everything that comes up. Also ineffective when you are leading a team. However, can you think of a good time to accommodate a conflicting issue? How about when you receive a directive from your manager? A good strategist will decide on how to approach a conflict situation. Will you compromise and lose a little or a lot of what you wanted? Compromise means settling instead of getting what you wanted or needed, likely resulting in a win-lose scenario. The best approach, where you reach a win-win scenario, is to collaborate with your team member and everybody gets what they need. Obviously, this can't always happen, but when you negotiate, you have greater success. There are 2 basic parts of a negotiation: preparing for it and conducting the actual negotiation. In preparation, write down talking points of exactly what your interests and goals are. Consider the best time. If I need something from my manager, I'm not going to ask her first thing on a Monday when she returns from a week of vacation. Timing can be everything. Pay attention and strike when the time is right. Cultural sensitivities may be important with your negotiating partner, for example. An Asian or Chinese culture does not aggressively and directly communicate. Rather, they avoid confrontation and negotiate with finesse, respect, and privacy. Rehearse and prepare your argument and think of how to express yourself professionally and respectfully. And make sure you don't blurt out any angry statements you'll regret later. You don't have to memorize everything. Just be ready with certain phrases or ideas to make sure you come across clearly and concisely. The first step to the actual negotiation process is to figure out what all parties need. It is best if both parties come up with a list together. Brainstorming together may take a long time, or it may be very brief. Instead of working against one another, the parties work together against the problem. Do not discourage any idea. The brainstorming process is wide open for suggestions, even if they don't work. Once you are able to evaluate alternatives, come up with a viable plan and implement it. Designate measurables and follow-up strategies to ensure everyone is sticking to the plan, if necessary. To discuss negotiation scenarios, we will visit the link on the slide to play a game together. The game offers scenarios and rewards successful negotiation with points. This fun activity will generate lots of opposing views and discussion. The next video presentation is number 8, Effective Listening.